Well, quite a Saturday afternoon, Sean. Where are you at with the pay-per-views on the weekends? Are you do you prefer Saturdays, Sundays? Where are you at right
Um, I mean, I feel like it just ruins my weekend. Not,
now?
not ruin. It just. Um, I like it at night because I like to go out during the day on the weekend and do things, and then when it's
Right.
during the day, I don't feel like doing anything after, and um, it taxes all of us more. We got to do the round tables and the post
Hmm.
shows, so more of us get roped into doing more coverage. And not that that's a bad thing, but it's just by the time I get done with the post show, if I have to do a post show, and I'm not saying I enjoy doing this, but just I prefer it at night where we want I've been able to go about my day, do things, and you know watch the show at night. And if there is a post show, you can do it and just knock off the bed.
I do feel like my brain is working functionally better even with a long day. Just the fact that we're not starting this at 12 Eastern.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice not to
I
be,
think
start
it
like for AEW. It's just the only thing is it just takes up your whole. They start in the middle of the afternoon and it takes up your whole day. And I just think it's just another major inconvenience that WWE's caused us by.
Well, it's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day. I wonder ultimately if this is actually really more just convenient for Tony Khan just because of the football schedule. I didn't even really think about that till the other day.
I
Obviously, like
mean,
obviously WWE is probably like the more hindering factor, but I wonder if ultimately if he's doing this to kind of benefit his schedule because my God, when does he actually sleep?
yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then throw in Fulham FC as well, and then all the stuff he's doing with the Rangers, and eventually I'm sure he'll buy a WNBA team if they ever get to Jacksonville. So the Tony Khan schedule is just quite amazing what he's able to do on a day to day. That man Tony Khan. I will say, in terms of what I don't mind doing this type of length of a show on a Saturday because I think about it. Would I want to do this on a Sunday? I just feel like Sunday, that's like the day I want to actually just plop down on the couch, watch
I
watch
definitely, yeah,
football,
I definitely
and
wouldn't want to miss football. Like them going head to head with the NFL, they would lose out because I don't want to miss football.
right. Yeah, obviously we've been I haven't really seen any strong. I'm sure there was good games on today. Of course, I watched my guys, North Texas, hold on in overtime against Army. That was actually nerve wracking and good day for me because Wrexham FC won. So not a bad sports day. We'll get in kind of like the minutia of the show here briefly, but not a bad day. No, I don't know. I'm just looking forward to watching football at my leisure, and I'm sure at some point tomorrow or even Monday I'll get to watching the WWE PLE.
Yeah,
Hopefully, if you chose to watch that and you're watching AEW later, you're having a good time. And I do find it was an interesting kind of dialogue all throughout the weeks leading up, Sean, because ultimately I just feel like if you were gonna buy the AEW pay per view, I don't think WrestlePalooza was gonna really hinder that choice. And if you were gonna
no, and
watch
I
oh, go
felt
ahead.
the same way. No, not necessarily would hinder it. I feel like AEW's audience, they have a core audience that buys the pay per views, and depending on how exciting some fans get, they pick and choose other shows, and that number jumps up depending on the build of the show and the hype of some of the matches. You know, um, and so I think they have that core audience, and uh, I think the thing that hurts it is if you want to watch both shows, you just I don't see any way anyone can watch both shows and enjoy them both
No,
back to
there's
back.
Anybody. I mean, I believe there are some hardcore folks. Like I think like the Meltzers, the Alvarezes, the Pats.
There's always exceptions. There's people.
Yeah,
I used to be able to watch a ton of wrestling. In my 20s, I could handle watching ROH. 5-6 hours a day sometimes.
Right.
But not anymore.
No, I'm with you, Sean, and I heard this phrase from a writer and podcaster over at What Culture Wrestling, and I've always kind of used it because I thought it was kind of like a great analogy he would use it. There's nothing worse than watching wrestling happen in front of you and feel nothing. That's where I just, if we'll obviously do our best to kind of like analytically and view the show for our YouTube listeners and those listening on audio, and with our help of our YouTube comments for any dialogue in between. But I just to watch, I watched the pre-show and all of the AEW show to try to go around even with a couple hours break to try to go through to watch WrestlePalooza. There'd be no way I could have any thoughts behind it. I mean, I might be able to come up with something, but I would at least want a full day to kind of at least pause to recover, because I know some days during the wrestling war, I mean, I would be one of those folks that would wake up and watch one or the other, and I would always like one more at the time, but then the second one I'm just like, oh god, I gotta watch more wrestling at freaking 5 o'clock.
Even at my absolute best, it was, I just burned out. Like when they used to have the indies, like WrestleMania weekend was my weekend to shine when all the indies ran at once, and when the indies were it was Ring of Honor and Evolve and Dragon Gate and stuff like that, and even then it was like I'd watch one show and then two shows, and then after the second show you're like just so done. And then and it was like during the day they'd start them in the afternoon, and then there'd be one at night. I remember Evolve and Ring of Honor ran on the same day once, and
oh wow.
Ring of Honor ran it, like Evolve ran during the day. It was like a 2-something hour show. This isn't so bad. But then Ring of Honor comes and dumps like a 4.5 hour pay-per-view, and like half of it was absolutely terrible, and you're waiting for the good stuff to come, and I forget the match. I think it was a big Kenny Omega match. It was one of the few appearances he made in Ring of Honor in a singles match, and it's just like it's like 12:30, 1 a.m. and like there's still carton stuff out there.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot.
I just can't.
Yeah, I mean, I had thoughts of potentially, because here in Austin, obviously, Dustin Rhodes does his Rhodes Academy.
Yeah,
there's a show tomorrow. I will probably say maybe next time, because like you said, Sundays, that's when I like to go out and venture and expect and support the local indies when I can. Go to the local Inspire shows, and there's some good stuff. And I would honestly prefer. I found I personally enjoy those more when I'm not covering anything throughout the weekend, and
right.
if I get blessed enough where Collision's on a Thursday and there's no pay-per-views on and everybody's available, and there's not 5 pay-per-views going on and roundtables going on at the same time, it's nice to kind of just consume the indie without having to.
I've done that too. 1 year G1 ended on a Sunday. I covered the event, the main event in the morning, posted that, and then went to a Beyond Wrestling / Progress Super Show on Sunday.
God.
And I brought my computer with me. I sat up top with my computer and live covered both shows. And after that, I was just totally fried.
I could only imagine. And I wonder. So I have not had the privilege of watching it yet. I've heard it could possibly be the best match all weekend. Have you had a chance to watch MGF and Mystico yet?
No, I've heard the same thing though.
Okay, so I was like, okay, am I gonna have to spend an extra $20 to watch like a match, and from the reviews I've gotten, that people have told me individually, just that main event match. I mean, the card, see it, the anniversary show, from what I've heard, from top to bottom, was very, very good. But then this main event I heard was, I heard it'll at least be in the conversation, I think, for match of the year, from what I heard.
Wow, I heard it was good. I didn't realize
yeah.
it was that
good. I just saw the visuals. I saw, I was very intrigued, and it just apparently this was one of MJF's better worked matches, which is shocker. God, what a freaking schedule that guy's had in the last 24 hours to freaking go to Reno, Mexico, and then less than 20, like a full day later,
Toronto.
Yeah, to go to Toronto, and then probably do.
She filmed a movie too.
Yeah, and then film a movie, and it's like, God,
and he got married,
and he just got married, and Sean, I honestly, that was actually one of my favorite collisions in quite a while, just because it was so unexpected. That one, because I think that was only maybe the third time MJF's ever been. No, okay, so maybe MJF's been on Collision maybe 3 or 4 times total. But just the fact that he was there, especially right after he was married, it made me kind of really appreciate him more, and just like shows, man, this guy really, really wants it, and his wife really is his person, because she. Had anybody else, he married someone else, she may have not been so understanding and giving him so much grace.
She knows how it is.
Oh, yeah. I imagine she does. But let's do some intros real quick and do some admin stuff before we dive in. I am Brian Zilem. For those who are unfamiliar with me, our audio listeners and YouTube subscribers, I'm a contributor to PWTorch, doing some hosting duties this night because, as we've mentioned, there's a million shows on right now and all throughout the weekend. So everybody's kind of doing different work and stepping up and asked to do different tasks. So I'm very honored and privileged to be joined by Sean Radican. He of PWTorch lifer. You've been doing this quite a while, Sean. So
since I was 23.
Dang.
I'm 46.
What was I doing at 23? Probably causing a lot of trouble, if I remember correctly.
I started out pretty good, I did a lot when I achieved a lot when I was young. I was a head high school basketball coach by the time I was, when was it? 24, 25 years old.
Wow.
So not too bad. When I was younger, I did pretty good. I was a columnist by the time I was. Same thing. About the same time, I got on staff around the same time. A couple of years after I started. So.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Around the same time, I got the head coach, and it was maybe one before I can't remember exactly, but it was close together. So
man, what a career, dude! Head coaching and doing stuff at the Torch. That's.
I haven't coached for a while, but I'm thinking about going back into it. But
all right,
it was a lot when I did it. So
could we bully Wade to get you some sponsorship of some kind for the team? Just get a PWTorch little on the jerseys. I
think I've gotten one shirt in like 20 something years.
I think we could work that in. And just for our audio listeners, if you ever want to get involved at the show, Wade's obviously doing shows weekly with Monday Night Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, any pay-per-view post shows. If you ever want to get involved and reach out to Wade, please sure to shoot me an email at wadekellerpodcast@gmail.com. And if you haven't already considered, if you would, if you're not a VIP member, please consider. You can always visit all the details at pwtorch.com /go VIP. Endless amount of archives, interviews, any write-ups of any kind. It's always a good time. I always like to go back and listen to Wade's interview with Moxley. That's one of my favorite interviews Wade's done. Obviously, do you have a favorite, Sean?
Let me think for a minute. He's done so many over the years.
Right, I know.
Gosh, Scott Hall was good. I mean,
Yeah.
Scott Hall was a good one. He's done a few with them. The Moxley one was really good.
Yeah.
He had Tony on a couple times. I don't know if those were Torch talks or not per se, but podcast interview. I don't know if they got transcribed like the old school days. Now with everything on podcast,
it helps out a lot.
But he did so many good ones. It's hard to he got big, like, back in the day, he got The Rock and Hogan, so it was cool. He got some big names. I think he talked about having a relationship with a reporter, talent relationship with Hogan for a while. So that was interesting. He never tells me anything. So. And I, of course, tell him everything. So
that's usually how it goes, Sean.
So it's a one-way relationship.
Yeah. Well, this is our PWTorch All Out post show. Before we dive into the show, just wanted to catch up on some comments here, and thank you so much for YouTube folks in, and we're reading these aloud for our audio listeners. Derek Mitchell, always appreciate you coming in. Hope everybody's doing well. Enjoyed AEW All Out. I'm watching WrestlePalooza right now. Sean, I'm sorry, Derek, let us know how the show is, because Sean was trying to boot it up.
I have it on. It's just I'm not. I just one thing that I noticed is how much better WWE's lighting is compared to AEW's. I mean, it's just so well lit.
Right.
And I even asked. I got knocked out before the main event on my PWTorch.com app, and I went back in and I was just like, look, I don't know if it was like the streaming quality. I mean, it was just very dark.
Yeah. I'm not sure. It's odd how sometimes it's if it's like the building production, like it
could just be the building, because it's like WWE like just putting this on in the background right after. Right. It's just, I mean, it's like you can see everything. Like they've got it lit. Like you see all the fans and like the front, the floor seats, and you can see the top of the arena, and it's pretty it's pretty well lit in there.
Derek Mitchell said, I prefer PLE or pay-per-view on Saturday nights instead of Sundays. Most folks have work the next morning. Not sure how wrestling fans are attending church on Sunday morning. I'm with you, Derek. I don't really, having the kind of layover the next day from a show, especially if it's a school night, if you got to go to work, it's sometimes that can be pretty hard.
I didn't even think of that. Like all it was, really, it's when you have work the next day, it's really,
it's rough.
It's hard. Especially when I was teaching. It's just, it's early morning for a lot of people. I know everyone gets up early anyway, but
right. All right,
Saturday nights or Saturday days are not so bad after all, I guess.
All right, got Derek Mitchell back in the chat. I can watch both shows on multi-screen. Page versus Fletcher and Lesnar and Cena were happening at the same time. What I can't watch at the 0 hour with 3 more matches, the card is ridiculous. We'll touch on the pre-show here briefly before we go into broad thoughts of the show overall. The tailgate stuff, it was a neat little idea. I'll be really interested to see what the ratings are. I can't see them being like, I would say if it's anywhere on the preferences of like a normal collision number, I would say I would consider that a huge win if it hits any type of normal collision number.
They can always say, we don't know the numbers on them. They were huge.
Yeah. Well, they could. But the show actually opened with it was a tag team match with the Ops, Samoa Joe and Powerhouse versus the Workhorsemen. Big fan of the Workhorsemen, Henry and JD Drake. Went 5 minutes. It was actually very fun. Hobbs actually started the match and basically did about 20 power slams. I thought that was actually very entertaining. Samoa Joe is just the perfect, I think, house show wrestler, as we discussed in our pre-chat, Sean. He's just he plays the hits and gets the loudest reactions. I'm very fortunate that I've got to see a lot of Samoa Joe kind of on the back end of his career since he joined Ring of Honor, AEW. It's been really, really fun. Some of my better TV experiences live, I've had a Samoa Joe match. I always think about the matches he had with Darby. Ridiculous, always very, very fun. He's a good tag wrestler too. I think him kind of like in the Zone trios. That's a good. I don't know if he's the threat potentially of the main event guy anymore, even though he just had a title run not too long ago. But I think this is probably a nice little zone for him though. But fun opener to start the pre-show.
He's bounced back nicely in AEW.
Yeah, I agree.
He's had a good run.
The second match on the card, so this was Daniel Garcia versus Shibata with Marina Shafir at ringside. So it went, I was surprised on how long it went. So it went about 15 minutes. Daniel Garcia turning heel was it was a needed direction from him. He was actually getting so much heat. He was getting a lot of chants throughout. You sold out, F you, Danny. Lot of good heat throughout. He, Shibata, God bless him. I don't know how he's still able to do everything he does. He looked great. Danny actually lined him up against the steel stairs, hit like a drop kick, and went to a commercial break. And Shibata actually had Garcia in a sleeper hole. Marina jumped up to actually distract the official. Garcia hit the stuff power driver and then followed up with I guess this is going to be his new finisher, the kind of like surfboard curb stomp. And he hit that on Shibata and got the win. And, still resembling his new, I guess you could say, young lion appearance in his Death Rider colors. But I was very surprised. I thought this would be very entertaining, but it was actually quite good if you do like the technical style wrestling.
Yeah, I definitely think anytime you could see Shibata have a good match, especially long form where he gets a little more time is nice.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of always back and forth. Like, should he be in the ring? You know what I mean?
Right.
As long as they, he's on this. I'm sure, him and Tony are on the same page in terms of what he can and can't do in the ring.
Right.
But it's insane to me. He's after the surgery he had that he's even in the ring because
he's out there.
But these people that wrestle they're a different breed.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. Third match on the card, kind of just there. It was a hologram. Kyle O'Reilly, Roger Strong being the frat house. Went 3 minutes, didn't really it was just kind of there, not a lot there. And then the main event of the tailgate show was the Tornado tag match with the Mega Main, Penelope Ford, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue versus Harley Cameron, Mina, Queen Amanada, and Willow. It was fine. Willow obviously got a huge reation.
Got a lot of TV time to build it too.
Yeah, that it was kind of just like because I thought maybe they would have built for something a little bit more with heft, and this was kind of just fun house showy stuff. I like Queen Amanada has obviously stepped up and come along quite a bit. I'm a big Megan Bain supporter, Sean. And then obviously Willow Nightingale just on the pre-show and not the actual card seems kind of but I mean,
she is one of my favorite female independent. Seeing her around the indies and then getting to AEW, it's been pretty nice to see her come up through the ranks, and she's just such a force in the ring, and she's the clash between her personality and what she does. She's like oh God, I can't remember his name. the American guy that went to she's like a happy I can't remember his name. The one of the old Americans that used to go to Japan.
Let's see.
Was it Dr. Death? No, I'm trying.
Help us out, Chad, if you.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
just a bundle of joy with that fighting spirit within her.
It's very contagious. But Willow got the pin with the Dr. Bomb and won.
I haven't even gotten to WrestlePalooza yet, and I can't pull names out of it.
It's been a long day, to be fair, Sean.
I think I'm thinking of Dr. Death, Steve Williams.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah. I'll see if I'm trying to remember if it's him or boy, it was a pretty prominent American name.
Yeah,
it wasn't Stan Hansen.
Yeah, Derek Mitchell in the chat is helping us out. Sean, he did say it was Dr. Steve Williams.
Okay, I did get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you, Derek. Appreciate you as always, my friend.
Like in my head, it was like I'm just.
Hey,
it's like Dr. Death, Dr. Death, Dr. Death. I was like, it's not Dr. Death.
Time has no meaning, my friend. It's been quite a day, and I get broad thought. Like before we get into the show, like broad thoughts of the show, bro. What'd you think?
I think I put something up on Twitter and Blue Sky. It was the old Bill Hader SNL skit where he's the guy that goes to the crazy clubs, and the show had everything, and like a juggling monkey and a bar with a password. That's what this was like. Like this show had everything. It's like we had a murder, a guy got set on fire. You had Harley Cameron sucking her thumb, which is going to go make all the sickos crazy on social media.
Oh God, yeah.
I can't believe. Like some of the stuff I see, it's like I think I'm watching Urban Wrestling Federation again or something. Like where they actually shot people and stuff.
Right.
Like Darby Allin, waking up and like the Death Riders leave and he pops out of the coffin. He's like, "I'm gonna set you on fire," and he did it too. And I was like,
"Oh my God!" Like
puts him in a body. I'm like, it's so ridiculous. Like they were talking about murder the other night. So like, I'm gonna kill you. And I was like, whoa, it's wrestling, guys. It's sports-based competition.
Yeah, that we could probably go without that. And
it literally, like he tried to suffocate Moxley with the plastic bag, and then he set him on fire.
Yeah.
So he followed through on his it's literally attempted murder. Of course, like they had people there with fire extinguishers, like within like 2 feet out of camera, and they come flying in, and I was like, John was awfully brave too. I think the bag like disintegrated under the flames. Like there's a huge hole in the body.
Yeah, that for stunts, I'll trust Darby. If anybody's
I do not trust Darby Allin. I'll tell you that. I said this to people in the company when they signed him and the show started. I said, "Are you going to let this MFer, do what he did in Evolve? Oh, he'll be safe. He won't be doing crazy stuff." Yeah, and here we are. It's like how many years later? 6 years later. Yeah. And he's like, he's getting razored edged onto coffins and setting people on fire, and I mean, this guy is like the cat with 9 lives. Like when but I don't want to get too far into that.
He got hit by Sean. He got hit by a bus and climbed Mount Everest.
Yeah, he got
climbed Mount Everest. Got hit by a literal bus.
The guy is indestructible, and if you don't know how dangerous it is to climb Mount Everest, like I don't want to ruin people's days because it's depressing. But there's like literally just bodies up and down that, like once you get up towards the upper levels, like it's like sobering. Like this guy went and did that. Like he could have like died up there if things went south. You know what I mean? Like this isn't like you train and hope things go right. Like people that do this are risking their lives.
it's a very Darby Allin feat to accomplish.
But it's his you know it's his life. I hope for the best for him. I just the things he does, it's too much. And only in AEW can he do this sort of thing, because I don't think any other company would allow him to be this crazy.
But I guess that's what makes Darby Allin, because I don't think he would have this same.
I think he could tone it down and still, just have some of the, enough of the aura, I guess. But I just think that it just seems like he was away for a long time, but man, he is catching up on lost time. But
I'll
say, a lot, like some of the matches just had weird finishes early where it didn't click.
Yes, anticlimactic.
Yeah, very anti. And it was like up and down the card. Even I think the worst case was in the Tony Storm match. I just felt that was very anticlimactic I was disappointed they ended her title reign that way. I thought that should I thought she was so good for so long, and I think that the person that beat her should have, had a bigger moment than that. Like just having a seat belt, the pin, and it wasn't a satisfying end to Tony's reign. I didn't see it coming. I mean, you can do things and surprise people, and it worked. The crowd, really did not see that coming. But I think long term, Tony pulled pulled all these wins out of her backside and beat every big name. So I was starting to wonder, like, what can they, they could really build this up to something special. And then they had Statlander kind of get a fluke pin. So it's like, what happens? Does Tony just come back and beat her and get her belt back? Or does she go crazy again and disappear for a little bit like she did in the past?
Right. Yeah.
But the show was. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go finish your thought.
I was just gonna say a lot of good matches on the show. It was like it was such a mixed bag though. But Briscoe and MJF, off the top of my head, the 4-way tag ladder match was just awesome. And the main event was, wow, what can you say? It was just, the crowd was really brutal on Kyle Fletcher too, and he just really came out, and they had such a brutal Japan style match, and so I'm gonna love that, and they and no interference, thank God. No one came out after the match. I don't think. I'm pretty sure no one came out after it. I was Hangman. So thankfully the show didn't end with the another 30 minutes of run-ins.
Right. But, I was expecting maybe something, but I'm like you said, I'm glad it finished with no abrupt ending. Yeah, like up and down. Definitely not a perfect show.
Much better than last month.
Yeah. I think in terms.
Overall, I think it was much better. Like, I have a better feeling coming out of this one than the last show.
Yeah, and the Forbidden Door, it was weird. I really liked how that card was formatted, just from a card structure. But like you said, it lacked obviously the heft with like the integration of the New Japan type cadence and how the main event.
Like I told Rich, it was a saucy door. It wasn't a forbidden door.
Yeah. And then it was just, it lost the half of the main event. How it kind of just turned into Will Ospreay's kind of like a goodbye match rather than really anything meaty or meaningful with like the Death Riders.
The ending of it, I gotta say, like I am so sick of them. I know that's the point, but like I'm past I'm getting House of Torture New Japan sick of these guys. I wish it would go somewhere so there's some consequence for what they did. I know they took Moxley could use a break. Just to refresh.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, they have these chances to create some interesting feud. Not that, the Darby Allin thing, I guess. I can't say it wasn't interesting, but, I thought they had, with Pac coming back, I thought they had a chance to, have someone turn on it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, it's just another guy join us. It's like, they really need like how many guys, however, like 6, 7 now, however, 5, 6 or 7.
Well, they have to outflank the Don Callis family, Sean.
Yeah, but
at some point. But yeah, up and down show, definitely not perfect. I think the main event, before I was kind of almost leaning to anywhere from a C plus to a B minus, but I think after the main event, I might go for a solid B overall on the show. Definitely not perfect. I don't think it was. Some of it was kind of just unfortunate circumstances. And honestly, I've got some thoughts on this opener, Sean. I don't know where you're at. I did not like this opener. I did not.
I'm trying to remember what I got to go back to my notes.
Okay, so let's go.
What opened the show? Oh, Cope and Christian against.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. How could I forget?
So the reason I did not. So you had that excellent angle from Dynamite, right? September. Remember, you had the excellent promo. Dax had the awesome sequence of Cage busting his nose with the microphone. You see all the blood, and they start by doing kind of like the silly intros to set up the match, and I did not like that. Because for me, honestly, you need to pick a lane. If they would have leaned into the silly the entire time, I would have been a little bit more understanding and tolerable of that. But you just had a serious beatdown angle, and a part of me has wanted Cage to kind of entertain Cope a little bit more, where I don't want this gritty, grimy Adam Copeland at age, at age 50. I don't really need that in my Adam Copeland right now. I want him to kind of be funny and show a different side of his personality. I don't need him to do these 35-minute matches anymore, as long as he's with AEW. I did not like the tone that immediately set for the match. And I would say from a technical standpoint, I think the work was very, very good. You had classic FTR, doing great FTR cutoffs and everything like that. I thought they looked sharp. Cage starting the match and getting the heat for about, 8 to 10 minutes was interesting. I would have probably flipped that and let Cope get the heat. Because I think that's how they did the match, I believe, last time in Forbidden Door last month. But, it's all about getting the heat on Cope, the heat on Cage.
Cage, yeah.
And then, he finally gets a tag to, Cage gets a tag to Cope and he runs wild. And then, all of a sudden, it's about at the around 13, 14 minute mark. They're about Cage and Copeland are about to pin FTR. And then Stokely pulls out the official. So how's that not a disqualification? I guess officials' discretion, sure, whatever. But then
I don't remember who was officiating it, but Bryce Remsburg was clairvoyant during his match. MJF.
No, it was definitely not Ryan Remsburg. I forget the official's name.
I mean, these officials have a new standard after that MJF match.
Yeah. We had the debut of Beth Copeland making the save.
I was sitting there. I was like, who's coming out?
Yeah, well, it was, you knew
the Tron was just fire.
Yeah, for quite a while, and Stokely had to sit there.
I was like, is Kane coming out?
Yeah, oh God, I hope not. But Beth comes down, spears Stokely, and then we miss a spear in ring, and then there was a near fall. And then I don't understand why we needed this additional 3 to 4 minutes, Sean, where it was just spam kickouts from Copeland of all people for
kicking out of everything.
I didn't. And then they did.
Here's the thing. I thought it was fine. I thought it was they did the Cena tribute spot, which I thought was clever because it's like, hey, we're gonna just be really nice about that, it's like
right.
Like the announcers are like, it's one of his career-long rivals, and the crowd was kind of eating it up at first. They were doing some cool stuff,
right?
And then it kind of like kind of fell apart with the interference and
going way. What was the point of that
Phoenix
extra
just
3
carried
minutes?
Stokely to the back, and then they had to do a post-match angle too, which was like, come on, like every match does not need more after. Like, I guess in this case it made sense with the, but it just seems like Tony loves post-match angles. Like,
yeah, it was funny because the running joke I saw this felt like a angle from 2022 Extreme Rules with Beth and Cope.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't understand what match they do next from this. I don't.
And tonally, like, I think a lot of the problem with AEW is like the tone is just. We already touched on it a little bit. Is, you know, so they start the goofy stuff. They got the hockey. They got the grumpy Christian and Happy Edge backstage.
Right.
I'm sorry, Cope. I keep calling him.
Yeah.
And then they run into the the actor from
Trailer Park Boys.
Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah. I didn't even know who that was. Honestly.
I know who he is. I haven't watched the show, but I've seen like the meme everywhere. You know, him with his glasses, looking, making the face he makes. But anyway, so they go from that goofy. It's kind of lighthearted. They're doing they're doing spots the fans are enjoying. They're doing
right.
They're doing stuff the fans like tribute spots, including this. They did something else. I can't put my finger on it, but it starts out and then it kind of meanders and it keeps going and going and then, Beth comes out, and I was like, this is a bit much for the opening match, at this stage. And then it gets dark at the end where they,
handcuff
Edge. And so they've gone from, someone in creative needs some therapy,
Well,
because how do you go from tonally, like there's so much dark stuff in AEW that I can't pinpoint why are you so full of hate? Like I get that it's like I get this, there can be dark stuff, but the stuff that they put out is so dark on a consistent basis. Like someone there must be completely miserable. I'm convinced. And so they have Edge watching his wife. And first he watches Christian get the spike pile driver, and his wife runs in, gives him a kiss, and basically says, like, honey, I'm gonna
die.
I'm like, so he's watching his wife take it, which is an incredibly uncomfortable thing, watching a man being unable to help his, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just like tonally did not like it, and I get the key. Kids in 2K are probably like, yeah, we do this in 2K now. Why can't they do that? WWE, you can have intergender matches now. So it's like, but like, so you get into the stuff where it's just like, I don't want to be like uncomfortable. Like, I get some people don't care, but it turns off a lot of people. This is why they have this, you look at their ratings and like this giant chunk of people, is missing and from where they were. And if you look at the arenas, the giant chunk of people, sure they could build up a big show, but they're on such a good trajectory. And I think a lot of it is this dark it's not like this match was just kind of on the periphery of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it just, it just gets darker and darker. It just, and totally, I don't get like, how do you go from like a light, like it was genuinely kind of like entertaining too, like the opening segment, and even though it made no sense because they went right from that to they must have like changed like Jim Carrey in that movie where he peels his suit off and that old meme and had their gear ready. But it's just like totally, it just, I don't know. I don't know why they bounce around like that. Like, it just, and even like I said, even the early moments of the match were lighthearted. They were fun. I was enjoying it, and then it just kind of meandered and progressed, and then it went in another direction, and it didn't make sense, especially from where they were coming from on Dynamite.
Right.
To wrap up my point.
Yeah, no, Derek seems to kind of have our same thoughts here. Why not? Derek Mitchell in our YouTube chat here says, why not let Cope, Beth, and Christian have their moment? But nope, let's handcuff Cope and Beth and take power driver a la Randy Orton in 2017. Not 2017. 2007, 2008 with Seth and Triple H.
And I get why Kip Sabian came in and helped, but didn't he leave the ring when he just disappeared?
Yeah, that was
like what was another point. Rocky Romero came in and went after the Young Bucks. I'm like, what?
Where did you come from, Rocky? Yeah, that was weird.
What?
Yeah.
I asked, I was texting, did I miss something where he had a feud with the Young? I know there's a lot going on.
And ultimately, this opening kind of skit segment kind of gave me Better Than You Baby vibes, and again, I feel like that ruins kind of the tone. Where ultimately this feud that they had built up prior to the match, I thought they did a very, very good job. I was kind of just,
But what are they building to? A three-way? It's so unclear. I mean, it's I guess they, or are they building up to a bigger match? I guess there would be Kip Sabian and I guess it would be a six, like a intergender six-way with Beth teaming with them again. I guess Beth could match up with Kip.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where the end game is with that. I don't know. I don't know if I want a trilogy with these guys. It was also pointed out to me, Sean, that I've had the fortunate I've been fortunate enough to kind of get to know a lot of different people, and good friend Kevin that I've interacted with through the Fight Game Media family, he had pointed out, and I thought this was interesting, just because the crowd all night was kind of up and down, in my opinion, and I was really surprised the crowd was not more jacked. I thought they would have been losing their mind for Cope and Christian, and he had astutely pointed out, back when Cope was in Toronto and that match was Sheamus, they kind of built that up as his retirement match. So they kind of already saw him one last time in a way. Now, obviously, this was different because this is Cope and Christian for the first time in 20 years. But I thought that was kind of an astute observation because I didn't really think this crowd was that excited for the opener, to be quite honest. I thought there was other moments throughout the night that they provided way more energy and noise for other things, other people going on. But it was definitely kind of a weird crowd up and down.
Yeah, it was hard to please at times.
Well, yeah, and I will say, it's not obviously up to the wrestler's responsibility, but as me, Sean, if I'm gonna go to a show and go front row, I'm gonna if you're not entertained, I'm not advocating. I'm not telling someone how to fan, but generally, even if someone's out there busting their ass, I'm still gonna clap. You see a lot of these people in the front row sitting on their hands.
There were matches that were I can't early on that was just pretty good, but not getting much of a reaction.
Right.
When the show started off and they lost their minds for the Cena spot, I was like, oh, they're gonna.
Oh yeah,
I thought they were gonna go nuts for everything on the show, pretty much, and no, they were
up and down.
They were a tough crowd. I mean, they gave Kyle Fletcher hell for a little bit too.
Yeah, very well. And then Toronto historically is a WWE crowd, but to me, we're what 6 years into AEW, you would think you would kind of know what it's a different vibe. It's not what you're getting, so that's why I was kind of surprised. Especially with this being one of the the largest gates that they've had for an All Out, you kind of understand. I don't know. Like you said, it was a very tough crowd. Yeah, well, and I was thinking as long as the match went under 20 minutes, they didn't overindulge. Just had the ceiling of being pretty good. It had the ceiling of being pretty good, but unfortunately, just that kind of fluff toward like that added fat, which I don't know why some folks just choose to have these on show like their matches, Sean. It just kind of kills the vibe. Like less is always more. I'm telling like wrestlers, bookers. I know I'm a guy sitting on the couch, but I'm telling you as a viewer, less is more. I'm telling you, like always go less. Don't overindulge. Like there, you can have a fantastic match at 15 minutes. I'm telling, because 15 minutes, you can always have a great match at 15 minutes. Let's see.
I'm gonna run check my plug stopped powering my computer. I'm just gonna run over and check on it.
I'll be right back. No problem. And Derek, appreciate you jumping in. Let's see here. Okay, Derek Mitchell in our YouTube chat here. Cope and Christian Cage did not have emotional equality in AEW, their former WD. You guys, but underwhelming response from the crowd. Yep, completely agree, Sean. And like Derek and like Sean was saying, it just it was a tough crowd to please. I'm not really sure what they wanted traditionally. It's almost like they got up a lot for the stars, and then everybody else was kind of just. Yeah, I will say it took a while for me to kind of really wait and sit down and just enjoy kind of the experience of the AEW pay-per-view because obviously the first two matches didn't go as expected. And then when Sean gets back, we'll go more in detail. But the second match on the card, Eddie Kingston defeats Big Bill. 7 minutes. Oh, man. Not great this match. It was not very good. I'm not really sure what happened with the finish. There were stints where Big Bill tried to do a couple boss man slams to Eddie, and those didn't look great. I don't know if there was a communication problem. Maybe Big Bill was trying to be extra careful with Kingston coming back from his injury. Kingston came out. He looked like Kingston. He started the match. He came out to the building with a Claudio Sucks Eggs shirt, which I found very funny. But the match, I don't know if necessarily Big Bill was the right opponent for Eddie. I'm wondering if Eddie was ready to come back. I've missed Eddie. There's obviously like this huge gap Eddie Kingston can fill now with a lot of stars on the shelf for AEW. But yeah, that finish on, I don't know what happened there. If that was just miscommunication, lack of, if it was both guys were just off. But the commentary, I would say the most entertaining thing about this match was Bryan Danielson calling Eddie Kingston's match. And God dang, Sean, how have we gone up almost an hour not talked about freaking Bryan Danielson? He adds a freaking star to every match now. I've committed, like I've predetermined this man adds a freaking full star to any match.
He is good. Forward.
I'm kind of determined. Has there ever been someone to come in this late in the year as an announcer, a full-time commentator, and win commentator of the year? Because he's already got my vote. I mean, no disrespect to anybody else. I just like Walker Stewart. I know you're out there killing it for New Japan, but I mean, my God, just the love, the enthusiasm, the information Danielson just brings in the match, and the way he kind of just has a conversation with you in a match as well. It's great. He's just free. You could just tell there's nothing better when we're watching this stuff, Sean, and someone's just having the time of their life.
Yeah, he's definitely enjoying himself.
Yeah,
which is cool.
With Kingston, what do you think happened here? Do you think it was
just rough? I don't know. It just never, the crowd was really flat, and it just. And it never, I mean, how much time did he get? It didn't feel like it was. I'm trying to 8 minutes, so it had like hardly any time. And your first match back, I mean, it just, I don't know, just he didn't look terrible or anything, but it's just wasn't a great night for him. I mean, that's gonna,
I don't know if that was the right opponent. I mean, maybe you could have had a Max Caster Open challenge, and maybe that would have been a better
I think
possibility.
something quick would have been. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how much time he spent training. I think just getting your feet back under you after being away for so long is.
And we do, and that's something fans need to kind, even us as reviewers, I think that's always good to remember. He's been gone since 2024. We do need to kind of give him some grace, but obviously it just I don't know what happened. It just wasn't great, and I feel. And I was a little bummed that we didn't get the thing I wanted most was Eddie Kingston to get promo time, but we didn't get that. We got a odd pairing, which I don't really know what to think of this pairing. But the post match after Kingston won with a missed air back fist that Big Bill tried to sell and wasn't great. Brian Keys helping Big Bill beat down Eddie Kingston, and then all of a sudden you see the hook signal. So I don't know if this is a potential pairing of Hook and Kingston now with the New York guys. Because Kingston's
it definitely looked that way.
Yeah, Kingston's gonna need a friend versus Big Bill and Brian Keith, which if you wanted to try to get Hook a more personality, I guess sticking him potentially with Kingston it's not a bad idea.
No.
And they're trying stuff with Hook, and I mean they're trying with them, and I give them.
I think it's a pretty good pairing. They mesh well. Their characters.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I think I had pitched. I think on our last our Forbidden Door, Sean, that maybe they should lean silly with Hook and maybe pair him with like a valet like Harley Cameron or something like that. So I don't, just to get him a little personality, because Hook is interesting. I don't know. It's hard for me to kind of go through my Hook Rolodex. There's really only one match that I can really think of, like, oh man, like him versus Samoa Joe in that main event of Dynamite when Joe was champion is like really the only match.
I mean, they brought him into the company, and he's so young. And
he's still a baby for sure. And I want to see some depth to Hook. I want to know more about Hook. I mean, obviously, he's Taz's son, which is cool. He's from New York. He's from the Bronx.
I mean, I don't know if he's that type of guy, man.
he might not, but then again, Sean, he's got to go in the ring because you can get away with that, and if you can.
Yeah, he's so young. It's like hard to tell right now, and
yeah,
it's a different thing seeing some of these guys having to prove themselves on
big stage,
national TV, as opposed to the indies for the most part. A lot of these guys would probably be in the indies longer if it was a different time, like 10 years ago, or they'd be cutting their teeth in Ring of Honor and stuff like that, and not on major cable and pay-per-view.
Yeah, Derek Mitchell in our chat says Hook and Kingston will be the Kings of New York. Not a bad pairing. I like the name. Now, ultimately, Sean, my worry is, we tried the path with Samoa Joe. That didn't necessarily work. So if we can't really get anything out of this Kingston run, I do worry what they could do with him after. So I'm optimistic and hopeful this will work out for both guys. Yeah. Would I'd rather Kingston maybe interacted with Moxley in some capacity tonight? Probably, but it's all about the follow-up. So I'll give this a week or so to play out and see what happens next. I did feel like once we got to the next match, Sean, we kind of got back into the restored the feeling a little bit in the traditional AEW pay-per-view sense with the tables and tax match. Mark Briscoe defeating MJF in 19 minutes, and this is exactly what you thought it was going to be. It was exactly as advertised. I thought they laid this match out very, very well. I will. My only complaint is, I thought, why is Briscoe not wrestling for that contract? That to me is a big plot hole. I don't like that. What to me, I say, and if I was going to pick a match like this too, I probably would. Dog collar would have made more sense to me, especially since MJF kept on, mentioning, Jay all throughout, and you think of the history that him and
He
Mark
said he was
had.
going to make him kill him like another threat of death.
Yeah, I would have leaned towards that, but then it's just like, is having a dog collar ladder match and a coffin
And a
match
coffin.
overkill? Like, is that,
Why not? We're in
yeah,
Bill Hader's world.
I suppose that would have been my preference, honestly, Sean, for it to be dog collar. But I do think they laid out everything well. MJF, could stooge and show ass when he wants.
Putting the tables back.
Putting the tables back. Briscoe winning was never a foregone conclusion for me. I mean, God, if Briscoe would have lost this match, he would have been Ultimate Geek of the Year if he wouldn't have won this match.
They had him losing when he had the spirit of his brother in Ring of Honor for the title. So it's like they've kicked this guy. They've pulled the Charlie Brown on him so many times. Like,
right.
It just seemed it feels like maybe MJF is going to be off TV for a little bit.
That's what maybe I gathered, and I don't necessarily hate that, especially if we're going to have the contract kind of like loom. And again, he maybe he's on TV Wednesday. I probably wouldn't. My thing is, if him going off for maybe a few weeks,
it doesn't make much sense for him to lose a match, and he has the, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
it makes more sense for him to come back and execute his
contract
surprise and execute his. He's got to do it ahead of time though. Now they changed I mean, like Greg Parks, put on Blue Sky. He's like, "What's the follow up for Mark going to be?" And I said, "Oh, they'll probably just show him riding on a tractor Wednesday." And I mean, I was kind of close, 6-man tag.
With he's back in the conglomeration. So
I mean, for him to win that match, and I was a little bit deflated.
I did not like the tone of that either.
I feel like they waste a lot of MJF's losses. Like he loses, and it should really mean something because he's, you know what I mean? Because he's such he just feels like a step above a lot of the roster, and I feel like it was a kind of a lost opportunity where, I mean, Mark gets probably his biggest win to date, beating MJF, and he's just doing this goofy stuff with the, teasing. I mean, it was just so goofy, and you're coming off the type of match, the tables and tacks. Yeah, you come off a blood feud, you're backstage, and you're being goofy. I think it's cool. They're bringing Orange Cassidy back, but they could do that without Mark.
Right.
They could put someone else from the conglomeration with him, and I just thought it was like so goofy, and the Harley Cameron sucking her thumb. I was like, what in the world is that for? Like just, I don't know. I mean, it's just like, what are you doing? Like it's fundamental wrestling. You win a big match over a big talent, especially if you've never done it before, like Mark. That you put him in something big. A 6-man tag is nothing. Like you could be there's 6-man tags on Dynamite all the time, unless that 6-man tag somehow leads to his big opponent. But to me, that's not an interesting way to come off a match like that. It seems so simple to me that I don't want to be a booker, but if I was, and if I did what Tony did with Mark, that I'd have a big opponent for, a big feud set up for him coming off that, so he can continue to gain momentum. And he'd win that feud because he beat MJF, and beating MJF should mean something. And I just felt like on this show, we haven't gotten to the other match yet, but we talked about Tony Storm a little bit. But when you have an opportunity to make a big deal out of what you've built with your storylines and months and months, and build, and you waste it. You waste it. Tony Storm losing to somebody and having a big moment. I think especially after she went through everybody. You know what I mean? She went through and barely survived. But she's like the champ. Like her thing was like somehow she won, and
right.
And now she can't kick out of a seatbelt pin, and that's the in a 4-way she loses. I was like, I think they have opportunities to do so much with their talent, and they kind of squandered it on a couple of occasions tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I did not actually like the tone. It kind of what grinded my gears with the opening match. Briscoe kind of farting around with the conglomeration in the back. It seems like they're setting up a feud with him and Kyle Fletcher. I suppose that could be the direction next. To me, I almost don't want to beat Kyle Fletcher right now because I feel like.
Oh, right. I mean, that's something you probably shouldn't do is put those two.
Yeah, I wouldn't right now. Now, I mean, obviously you've got the C2 coming up here sooner than later, but I don't. It's really weird because their roster is big and with a lot of depth, but then you try to like put the face side, heel side at one. I struggle to think of a lot of heels that I want focus in, for potentially MJF's next opponent. And, obviously you've got, people like Jay White, who, AEW really likes. He's going to be out for the foreseeable future. Swerve, who could do both, is out. Kenny's out. Ospreay's out.
They're missing so many people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you've got some influx of talent coming back, which, they'll help. Now they're not, I wouldn't say the guy, Pac, Orange Cassidy, Eddie Kingston are on the same level, but obviously those are great hands to have.
It's just it's a, heading into the show, it's just an awful hard thing to lose, all those guys that I don't know how long Kenny Omega will be, but just not having him for the show itself was
still very weird. And then the fact Jericho wasn't on the show either, also super strange to me. I just assumed he was going to come out after the main event. Yeah, and ultimately, until AEW shows me otherwise, Sean, I'm still a believer Jericho's going to pop up on Dynamite on Wednesday and challenge Hangman. And to me, Hangman kind of like writing the rights of like his past. I mean, from a storyline standpoint, it makes sense. You obviously don't want to do this big epic thing with Jericho, but for like a month build, him and Jericho kind of just leaning into the history and, playing on Hangman's doubts, which is traditionally like a good way to build up the storyline with Hangman and now how he's so confident. That to me is the most sensible story right now until they kind of really, I don't want to say
they don't have many challengers,
No, they don't. And, and I don't know if ultimately if this is better potentially, because obviously you don't want to have a champion where he's kind of wrestling, you don't want to have your monthly Canes or weekly big shows as
the U.S. Open Challenge.
Yeah, U.S. Open Challenge. I mean, I've been an advocate, Sean. I think it would be fun to have Hangman kind of just have actually weekly, challengers on TV. I think you could easily have like Hangman have like a TV title match for someone like Bruce. I think that would be great on TV. And until they can kind of like really figure out, I think until they start kind of figuring out who's next, I don't think that's a terrible way to kind of have.
Yeah, but they also
I still want to
leave something for the pay-per-views.
Yeah,
which is a hard. I mean, I don't think they could do it every week, but they could do. They could certainly build up a TV match here and there in the meantime. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like. It would still be nice for Hangman just to kind of be featured, defend the title, and have these great matches with people like you could have him wrestle like a Roosh, or let's see who else is on the roster. I mean that Roosh is just like I'm just trying to think of someone.
There's so many people.
Yeah, someone that Hangman hasn't wrestled recently too.
I'd rather see him in storylines. Like
like
I lose interest in his character when he's not like deeply bothered by, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or has some intense connection with his opponent, like, and I thought they did a good job of striking that, with Fletcher. I thought they did a really good job of, making it, Hangman having this personal interest in the match and connecting the two of them. And they did it, in short order. And that's something he kind of needs for his character, because if he's just not like, I don't know, like his character's kind of hard to be a guy that would, you cart out there every week.
Right.
But I certainly wouldn't mind him working with finding, some kind of happy medium where he works with other talent too.
Right.
It's just, I don't know, it just feels hard right now with the cupboard's not bare, but they're missing, so many guys that he could be interacting with that, their biggest needle movers are,
on the shelf.
Yeah, and with MJF probably looking like, I'm sure we'll hear something in the next few days,
right,
as to what his plans are for him. But it looks like, it doesn't make sense that he wouldn't be gone for a while. I don't think if taking the loss tonight. So.
Right.
So with him gone, it's like, well, I didn't feel like a rematch with Fletcher's coming, so it's kind of
no.
So it's kind of got a fresh, clean slate heading into Dynamite this week, and so I mean, there's different. Yeah, I mean, you can certainly try it. I don't know. I just feel like his character does better when he's in more, angles and tag matches as opposed to just out there wrestling. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I get you. Now, I don't know what's going on with this, Sean, and especially after the reunion of Jurassic Express. I don't know what they're trying to do with this Acclaimed stuff, Sean, but this absolutely, I mean, this
parking
sucks.
lot skit.
This absolutely
I have
sucks.
No idea what it is.
I have no, because you saw like babies in the air when you saw we're skipping to kind of the end where we had the Jack Perry and Luchasaurus reuniting. Obviously, yes, like the Nick Wayne injury kind of ruined potentially that whole surprise, but everybody's wanted it, so it didn't really matter. As soon as they hugged, you had babies in the air, and they started blaring Tarzan Boy, and that you have that, and I just don't think people want the Acclaimed anymore in any iteration.
It's weird. They're still bickering. Like, if they were going to get back together, like, why do you have them like Jerry Lynn? Like,
that is so weird.
I was like the biggest Jerry Lynn fan. Like, when he was in ECW, I was such a fan of his work, but like, I don't care what he thinks now.
Yeah,
it's not like he's been on TV or anything, so it's just weird like that. We're expected to like, oh my gosh, Jerry Lynn's taking an interest. It's
like weird pairing. I guess he's filling Billy Gunn for reasons we'll never know. I don't
know what happened. He's like back in the 2K game or something. So I don't know what's going on.
I was a big fan of the Acclaimed, especially when they came up and they had their tag title run.
I mean, they had that moment at what was it, Grand Slam, where they won the titles, and it was just like they had the $800 replica belts, and they had the scissors, and everything was going. They had the merch, they had everything cranking for them, and then it's just gone like. Since they paired them with Billy, and it kind of went south, and it never, the split never really has worked,
No, and
they made Max a joke,
and he was getting over surprisingly.
He did the best he could with it, he it got over, but like you can't expect. Like, why should anyone care about them anymore after like what they've done to Max? Because he's, just a human punching bag at this point, and like it's it's a waste to me. Like,
yeah,
like Bowen should just be repackaged as a singles guy and just keep him away from Max and
Billy Gunn
and Billy Gunn, wherever he may be.
Yeah, it's a shame, John, because I'm a big believer in Anthony Bowens. I think he's a talent. I think he's a unique guy that they could feature. I was kind of
I like them both together. I thought they were just really fun.
I didn't mind the split. I just
I don't mind the split, but man, it's like I like Max. Max was fun when he get under the opponent's skin with his diss tracks before every match, and then now they've just I don't know what if you could you'd have to do he's going to have a total overhaul and come back as someone totally different, I think, if he's ever going to get over again.
Yeah, and I like I just the 5-tool player thing just wasn't it. That wasn't it. And AEW tried. They gave him his own music and everything, and had a new look. I mean, I think ultimately the problem was I think if they would have pushed Anthony Bowens without Billy Gunn, there might have been a chance. I just think there was too much of a remnants of the Acclaimed. It was still there, and you weren't letting him branch out. And you see what the reaction the fans gave Luchasaurus and Jack Perry, which I know Jack Perry's not everybody's cup of tea, but now he's back being lovable Jack Perry, and everybody's gonna do the wave.
I mean, that worked, but that was weird.
I think this will. I think
unless they're going to have an edge to them like this time around, which it looks like.
I almost want them to kind of lean into the personal stuff. Because God bless him. I'm so glad to see Luchasaurus back in there, especially after the health scare he had. I would almost prefer them to kind of lean into that a little bit more. And I know Derek kind of pointed out in our chat here that AEW's kind of had difficulty with dropping the ball on some teams, but the AEW tag team division does need quality depth. You can't depend on the Young Bucks and FTR to be your flag bearers all the time. And Jurassic Express is another team that you can add in there, and Luchasaurus So they, both of them collectively always work better as baby faces. Jack Perry was not a very good heel worker, so I'm all for recalibrating that. And
I thought he had potential. I didn't think his booking was all that good. I mean, he was really good in New Japan, and once he got back to AEW, I was like, New Japan teed him up, and just he comes back, and it's just like, oh God, this isn't working.
Yeah. Fourth match on the card, I really like this a lot, John. I felt like this kind of really got me back in the feeling of watching an AEW pay-per-view. The trios match of GOA and Ricochet versus the Hurt Syndicate. I like this a lot. I thought these guys worked their asses off. Shelton Benjamin to do the things he does at age 49, 50, just amazing. I thought the way he's able to, suplex a guy and then pick him up in midair and pick their ankle. And then Danielson was obviously marking out for that. That's great. I'm really appreciative of how they're really trying to get GOA over as a team. What do you think of that Leona and Bobby Lashley match on Dynamite? That to me rocked. I loved
it was
that
good.
A lot.
Yeah, it was pretty good, but we didn't get much of that tonight.
No, it was more just I would say Shelton kind of throwing around guys. They got the heat. Hurt Syndicate got the heat.
I mean, it was just I don't know. Like to me, it just felt like I don't know. It was like good in spurts. I feel like the Hurt Syndicate eats up their opponents, and then they left MVP out there to get the scraps picked. And I feel like it's the spirit of Charlie Haas and Benjamin and back in Ring of Honor again. Except Bobby Lashley is taking Haas's place. It's like these guys don't want to lose. They eat up their, you know what I mean? They eat up their opponents. But I thought there was some, I think the crowd worked against it a little bit, but it just felt like I don't know. It just felt slow, and then it would get really good, and the power stuff would get a big reaction. But then they just, I don't know, like for whatever reason, the fans just like would kind of take a step back, and then Ricochet did some awesome stuff late, but it's like, I don't know, why MVP's in there, of course, so he takes the I just felt like it just feels like no one matches up well with Lashley and Benjamin well from a size standpoint and a style standpoint, because what they do is they throw these guys around, and they even had Ricochet pose, and like it just really just accentuated how small he was compared to Lashley. But it was good in spots. I just, the Gates of Agony, just like from a size standpoint, they're like pretty big guys, but like Lashley and Benjamin are
they're units. They're
straight
they're
out of the 80s.
They're different animals, man.
Yeah.
Being close to them.
So like to me, it was like good in spurts, but it was just, I don't know. I felt the end. Like I never felt like anything was going to happen other than MVP getting pinned. You know what I mean? So it's like, to me, it was just kind of like, that's why it's a 6-man, because these guys just don't want to lose. So MVP will go in there and take the pin. It's like they got the titles off them, and I felt it was like the same thing. They don't want to take the pin. It's just, so it's like, and not that I'm necessarily advocate, like it just seems like there's like nobody that matches up well with them size wise, and it just doesn't seem like they like give quite enough either. Like when they're throwing these guys around, it's like,
yeah, I mean,
it's like Rampage come to life, the video game. It's like, so it's a hard match for a lot of these guys on the roster, and like there's no one like doing tags that's their, like, I just can't think of anyone that's their size, and they just had
Brody King.
Yeah, Brody. Yeah. I mean Brody King, but he's with Bandito, who is much smaller than.
Derek Mitchell in our chat, Sean, did point out this is the second time in a row the Hurt Syndicate have lost a pay-per-view match.
I mean, I've seen this before. I've seen this before with Benjamin. Not that, like, I mean, I'm not saying this is what's happening, but like they just, I don't know. They just, they're not exactly like making me think that any of these guys can beat them, and that's the problem I have.
Well, and I don't know if obviously plans change potentially. I always think about that match the Hurt Syndicate won when they were the tag champs, I believe, and they squashed the Gates of Agony, and then it's difficult to kind of like understand, 2 months later we're supposed to think of these guys on the same level after they got killed in 2 minutes. That to me is
what, well, there's that too, but
that's obviously not great. But I think they are trying to get these guys over, and I'm really impressed to see like how Ricochet's been able to kind of evolve and change his style.
Yeah, he's been great, but size wise, he didn't get enough here. Like he pulled off some spectacular stuff.
Oh yeah, that dive he did, he was going over the post. That was insane. But Ricochet pinned MVP. The match.
I don't know. I think they'd have to do something different in the ring. Like just really, I don't know. They just really have to bump their butts off for Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, and they really didn't. They did. They bumped in spots, but never felt like they. There's going to be an element of danger for them to lose, and that's just missing from their matches. And I mean, there is some history there with Shelton,
Toho did get some gnarly spots in, kind of like you said on the outside, but
I just feel like there needs to be more done to even the playing field a little bit coming out of these matches, because it's like, if MVP, if it was 2-on-2, like they had obviously there's the history of Ricochet and MVP there too, going back to like, and I don't even think they hit on that enough. You know, maybe if they had, like, the announcers didn't really sell that, like, you know, we got, you know, he, you know, after the Hurt Syndicate kind of did that rejection, they could have hit on that, but it just feels like to me that, like, that they need to find a way to make the opponent seem more credible against these guys. And then, you know, just the last couple shows, getting out of the match without losing. I mean, the tag titles switched. They don't, you know, the team got pinned, and then, you know, MVP takes the pin in this match. I just think it's a tough matchup for these guys on the roster right now. It just seems like they're so big, and they're so, like, and they're over too. So it's, you know, I mean, it feels, I mean, like, it's not the 80s anymore. You can't just, like, it feels like they should just destroy people, and then, you know, Hogan and Macho Man should come back, and, you know, it feels like you need the next reincarnation of the Mega Powers or something to beat these guys.
Yeah,
I feel like I don't know, because, like, do you get a groundswell, and, like, some of the top, like, they put a lot of the top guys are on the shelf, so you're not going to pull the top guys down to work with them. So it's like there's not, but I mean, it's just a small step in the right direction. You know, the singles match that Lashley had, and
yeah, you know, I'm still thinking about that bump he took on the apron, Sean. At 49 years old, I don't think I've seen. It was funny because I wonder if Lashley was out there to prove a point, because I don't think I've seen him take bumps like that in ages.
No, it's like I said, there are spots where, like, you know, but there's just not enough of, like, that doubt where, like, you're like, oh, this match could, like, Lashley or Benjamin can get pinned here. Like, I never feel like they're gonna lose
Right.
at any point, you know, because they're just coming through, you know, smashing, and, you know.
Well, we'll go ahead and move on, Sean, from the trios match. Next up on the card, we had the TBS title match, Mercedes Moné versus Riho. Mercedes Moné retains, of course, the TBS title in 15 minutes. I thought this was better than I expected on our our preview show on the Collision Cafe, Sean, myself and Amanda Jenny. We weren't obviously great. We weren't the biggest fans on how this was set up. Obviously, everybody loves Riho. She's got lore. She's an original, completely fine. Obviously, the initial tag match with her and Windsor versus Mercedes, and oh God, who did Mercedes tag with that tag match? Oh God, I forget her name. I forget her name. It's Riho's, like, mentor. God, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting her name. Oh God,
is it the one that does the Freddie Mercury tribute?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'm in the ballpark now.
Yeah, no.
I can't remember.
Emi Sakura.
That's
Sakura.
it.
Jeez, I'm sorry.
See, I got you there.
No. But that match, she looked a little rough, and she looked better on Dynamite against Robin Renegade. And I was just going in and just thinking, okay, if this ends up being pretty great, then I feel like Mercedes probably has she's got a good lead in potentially winning Women's Wrestler of the Year. The match was pretty good. I thought maybe there was about 2 to 2.5 minutes that didn't need to go on as long as they did. I felt like there was a lot of similar back and forths. I would have liked to see Mercedes kind of, like, bully Riho a lot more, like, you know, just because there's only so many times Mercedes could potentially powerbomb somebody on the apron. I would have liked to see, you know, some gnarly stuff like that, because Riho, you know, can do those spots, because that's some of her best matches. You look at someone like where she's working with Nyla Rose, you know, and she could take all the offense. Those are some of her better matches.
Right.
You know, the match was never in doubt. I thought Riho actually looked a lot sharper than she has, which is
I think you know, she came out. She connects with the crowd better than, she's clearly grown as a performer. She engaged the crowd at the beginning. I thought she did a good job of, selling to the crowd while she was working over Mercedes, and it got off to a good start, and the crowd was just very apathetic. And I actually thought it was pretty good, and I liked the match like quite a bit, but it's like, I didn't think it was like great, but it was like, it was very good.
And the crowd didn't give it much of a reaction, right?
Like, I was like, and like you said, like that's their right, but it's like, dang, like I've never experienced like every time I've gone to a crowd, I've never like been into a match and nobody, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Everyone's energy seems to match when I go to a show. It's just strange to me that I'm watching this crowd is like kind of weird tonight. And you just couldn't tell like they went crazy for like the Jurassic Express reunion.
Right.
As weird as that, the way they went about it was just like I've seen that video before, and it's like, huh? Yeah. It's like, but anyways, then it just kept going on and on, and I was like, they're having a good match, and then we just get this crap finish. It's like, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I get, Monet's a heel and she cheated, but like, she had no reason to cheat when she did.
Right.
And she doesn't seem like, she will cheat if she has to, but she's she's like not like an MJF type of heel usually. You know what I mean? So it seemed like she's like, I'm done with this. Like that's how it came across. Like I'm just gonna rake her eyes and hit my finish and call it a night. And it just, I don't know. It seemed like they could have gone somewhere because I thought Rio was doing so well, and they could have got. But again, like, what's her doing well in this match going to do? Because she's probably just going back home.
Right.
Soon.
I thought the Riho's single crab submissions where she was able to contort her body like she was doing yoga to the other side to almost do like an that was very creative. I like that a lot, actually.
She was really brought something. Like a lot of times when you see foreign talent, they often don't like, and especially in the U.S., out of their element, they have a hard time connecting with the crowd. And like, I felt like Rio could have had like this moment where she at least got close. Like, I don't think she ever got close to a near fall, and she was really working over Monet at the beginning and hit the double, like the midsection, and working on like the double stomp off the apron to the floor looked really good. And then it just kind of like meandered to the finish, and I was like, well, this is kind of like, just kind of a letdown between the crowd and the finish. But it's just like, it was just one of those matches that just kind of just went. It was really just hurt by the crowd in the finish, but it was like, there were some positives you can draw out of it for sure. But it's like, I wish like they had taken it to a spot like where Rio got more of hope she could win, It felt like a chapter. It felt like something was missing because it felt like they were on the way there.
And it just, I'm ready for, and I know Derek Mitchell in our chat kind of pointed out where it seems like pointed out the reigns. He had mentioned Mercedes Moné has held the title for 451 days, and we'll hold it until we surpass Jade Cargo at 508, which completely makes sense. I'm just ready to add a little depth to Mercedes because I think overall, from a calendar year standpoint in ring, I think she's been.
I just think overall, if you're not holding the top title, like who's gonna kick? You know what I mean?
Well, and then she's
got a lot of belts, but she doesn't have the belt. So
the good thing is she's a star, Sean. But like again, we need something interesting. That obviously there's the rumors and speculation. Maybe she's getting a group with the Renegade Sisters. I mean, that's interesting. At least that's added something to the act. That
right.
I'm down with that. I would just I want to see some seeds. I'd be okay with some seeds planted, because who eventually is going to dethrone Mercedes Moné? I have no
wanted
idea.
to see. I thought I wanted to see more of her and Tony Storm, and I just don't know why they left. Like they just left that. They just went away from it to a 4-way. I thought that's the type of thing, like kind of an opportunity to build a, unless they have something planned that they don't want to break away from, like you said. But
right.
I just felt like, when she lost to Tony, it's like, well, she's got this, like, if she's got all these belts and she beats Tony, then yeah, this means something. But then she loses it, and it's such a close match that you're like, well, if she, if they did a trilogy or something and she came out on top, then like, yeah, you have this heel with all the titles, and that's cool. So I guess we see where if she gets her own, she gets her own stable or something. It just that match with her and Storm was just really good. So in my mind, I'm like, why don't you just be like, these two are like two of the best right now in the like two of my favorites to watch by far, pretty much. WWE has some good women, but these two are like really good, and Monet is gotten really good, like at what she does in AEW in the ring. So it's like you have this opportunity with Tony Storm and just to really make something big out of it. And I think it's a lost opportunity, because that's all gone now a month later. And like Tony's had some opportunities to make some big moments. And right now, I don't like what's not that I don't. I guess whatever else he's doing is not going to measure up to what could have been between those two.
Yeah, I will say, since All In, if that was kind of like the season finale, I would say this new season has been kind of a little shaky. Not obviously as great, because obviously you're not going to have like those great finishes, or like you're not going to have like a great season premiere like you did the finale from All In. But like you said, there's been a lot to be desired, and I just hope whatever they have for Monet, it's something pretty good, because like whomever beats Monet, this needs to be treated like a huge deal.
I don't like. I watch it. I hear about Athena in Ring of Honor and how good she is over there, and it just feels like they do all that stuff with her, and then she comes and loses, and then same thing with Monet. She's got all these titles. They build her up. She's really, like, she had a rough start in AEW, but she's really you know what I mean? She's really right at the ship, and she's clicking on all cylinders again. And they build her up to Tony Storm, and she loses, and it's kind of like, well, where do you go now? It's like you don't really have, like, they're like the two biggest stars, easily by far the two biggest stars they have on the roster for women. And I think you could even main evented a pay-per-view with the two of them if you went the right way. I think
absolutely.
I thought Tony and Mariah May should have main evented when they were feuding.
100%.
I don't see why not, because some of the feuds have been, the stuff the women's been doing has been incredible in AEW, and why not showcase it?
Yeah.
I mean, they do show, like, why not put it in the main event and pay us, like, when you're asked about it, just give a non-answer. You're not going to get an answer.
In our chat, Sean, for our audio listeners here on YouTube, Derek Mitchell did point out and ask, is Britt Baker coming back to Dynamite on Wednesday?
And if she is going to come back, I mean, that should be right.
I
get the feeling that she is never coming back.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
it sounds like she's just had a rough go health-wise, like just from coming back, and the All-In match last year was
some backstage stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she wasn't ready at the time. It just best wishes to her. Honestly, I don't know if she's coming back. Honestly, Derek, and that's okay if she's maybe this is just a time where she just needs to step away, and this is not necessarily for her anymore. That's quite all right. I mean, it sounds like she's just had a lot to kind of deal with internally, externally, just it's all right. I mean, if she does come by and they build her to something,
it is
we'll see.
because like she is, again, far would be the third woman probably if she was back to where she was before she left. You know what I mean?
For
she
sure.
She felt like a really big homegrown star for them.
Oh yeah, no, still super important to like the company's health and growth, especially in the division.
It's been she is missed.
Yeah,
she is a very good. She's very good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, kind of going through the next match on our card here, Sean. I don't know. I'd probably have to either go this or the main event, but man, this match that I did not really care for, and I kind of groaned on how it was presented and booked. It was obviously it was a fixture just to tease tension between Takeshita and Okada, but god dang, Sean, this match was incredible. This freaking AEW Unified Title match. This was the first time of the night where I felt like, okay, crowd, now I can actually hear you. Like you're excited about something good.
Right. I felt like it was just going to be
just, I thought it was
a vehicle for the 10, I thought.
Right.
I said I had, Mascara Dorada on my Prize Picks parlay to eat the pin, and I thought he was just going to be in there to shine a little bit and take the pin in the end, but he pretty much stole the whole match. Like the crowd just went crazy. I was like, he's like outshining Okada, and like, granted, Okada is in retirement mode pretty much. But, he's taking it easy, but he was just such a good base for those two guys. Like when they were on offense, and then he's hitting the like all three of them are standing up on the top rope, and I'm like, what the heck are they gonna do? Like he did some of the craziest stuff I've seen in a while, like the double Hurricane Rana.
That was insane because those Takeshita and Okada are not small, tiny men.
No, they're like to get your legs around, like to make it look like even passable. Like
right,
it's crazy because they're like Takeshita is huge.
Yeah,
and Okada's not small either, and so they just oh my god, it was just he was so good.
Okada.
I mean, I know Dorada was good. Like I know Dorada's good, but man, he was just for someone like I don't see often because I don't get a chance to watch Lucha. Man,
he was great.
He was amazing.
Yeah. Okada, it's very nice to see Okada in the moods for the pay-per-views because I feel like sometimes on TV he's hit or miss, and I think one of my favorite pay-per-view matches that I've seen live this year, Sean. I actually adored Okada versus Mike Bailey at Double or Nothing. Just because I felt like that was the first time in a while I really saw Okada, and I was like, it's still in there. I got to see a glimpse of it, and that's all I've ever wanted. That was my first time to ever see Okada live in a kind of a pay-per-view format.
Should have gotten down to those ROH shows. You see the real. Don't see the hangover version of Okada.
Hangover version of Okada. But
you know, see the New Japan.
Yeah, but I saw a glimpse, and I was very content with that. And I think if I had to antiquate a number, I think this was, I think this was definitely above 50% Okada putting it in
he
there.
took some bumps and did more than he usually does. He did. I thought he did more than he did during the Omega match. Which It's kind of a letdown, but
yeah, honestly, I was not a fan. Honestly, Sean, I just
I thought that Dorada just created so much movement around these guys. Like it was just incredible.
Yeah.
Just whether he was selling or on offense, just like he was like the tornado in the just a tornado of movement.
Man, I'm really looking forward to see what they do with this this Takeshita, Sean, once they finally turn him face.
Again, they don't want either guy to lose, so it's just like this thing we see in both company AEW and WWE. So it's got to be a three-way. There's got to be someone in there to take the pin. One guy can't beat another guy. We're just so afraid. You know what I mean? It's just
right.
It's like, man, I mean, Okada will live if he loses to
right
to Takeshita. He'll be okay.
Well, and then it is a little tricky right now, Sean, because Takeshi's,
I mean, I know they're still telling the story, and
yeah. Well, and then he's about to wrestle for the New Japan not strong, but the New Japan heavyweight title, and then I would say it would Takeshita needs to be winning the C2 and probably beating Okada. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, man, this is Takeshita, man. He's great, and once they kind of figure out,
sure. I don't think they've announced when he's the matches
for New Japan.
Yeah,
I thought I saw October.
Did they announce? I've been trying to catch up. I stayed. I
thought because we talked about it on our preview.
Oh, I'd see last time I looked.
I think it was like October 8th.
All I had seen was Red Narita was getting his shot, and Sabre said he wanted to, face everybody before he defended against Takeshita. So I figured that was pushed out to November.
No, it seemed like they want to get this kind of in. So having him in the C2 versus Okada after I presume they're gonna strap up Takeshita, and then I guess maybe have Takeshita and Tsuji for Wrestle Kingdom, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have many.
Yeah, but
like I wrote about, they don't have many. They don't have many options the way they're booking. Like
no.
When I did my G1 cover story, all the wrestlers except one ended up finishing. Like everyone is like the definition of parity is 4 and 5, except for and that's with how is it 20? Yeah, 20 guys, and 19 of them finished at 4 and 5 or better.
Yeah, not great.
Which is like pretty crazy. But yeah.
Yeah, what was crazy was this coffin match with Moxley and Darby Allin, Sean, as we kind of talked about a little bit. It only went 19 minutes. Had a lot. You had Danielson helping Darby out and with the bag. He had a bag with a bag on it. He had a duffel bag with a paper bag, which was kind of funny.
Did it say AEW on it's like
the sure.
Same? It's like the same exact. Was it the same exact one the Young Bucks are tagging?
It might have been.
I'm like, these guys just all have AEW bags. They carry their money or their weaponry or whatever.
Of course, that's. Hopefully they have that updated for the new AEW video game whenever that comes out.
Some time on that one.
I was very surprised on the finish here. Moxley actually beats Darby. Pac actually came out and helped Darby, or he killed Darby. He helped Moxley after Moxley shoot away the.
Moxley literally won by closing the coffin with it. He was basically dead.
Yeah, he was
shut it with his foot. And the coffin, I was laughing because the coffin technically wasn't even closed because it was broken.
Also kind of funny. And technically if we're counting body parts, not all the bag was in the coffin. So to me, I was like, oh, is somebody going to come out? Are they going to use that as a gotcha? But
we won't.
And I was so thrown off too, Sean, because the running gag is Pac is always around everywhere just in wrestling attire. Not only was Pac in normal clothes, but he got a haircut. So I didn't even recognize him at first when he
No,
came.
it just is like he's like groomed to be the death, the death
Yeah.
rider.
So
he updated his Blackpool Combat Club appearance.
Yeah. Now I feel like we almost have to have a list. So officially now in the Death Riders, we have Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia, Pac, Claudio, Gabe Kidd ? And then Marina and Moxley.
Someone else, isn't there? I'm trying. Oh yeah, you named Marina. You did say Marina.
Yeah,
That's
Marina.
what I was thinking of.
Oh, I'll definitely go back and go out of my way to watch the match. But did you see the promo Marina cut on at Defy Friday?
No, I missed that.
Go out of your way, folks. That was a hell of a promo that she cut after she won the match on Friday. So glad Moxley's rubbing off on her quite a bit in the best way. I just where do they go from this, Sean? Because we already talked about the post match or the kind of like the post after match angle where Darby.
Yeah, we talked like this obsession with killing people in wrestling ranges.
So what are we doing with this? This feud must continue. What else can they do?
Are we going to the barbed wire exploding ring match again?
Oh God, I hope not.
Like where do we go?
You already kind of did mini blood and guts.
Yeah, they've done it all.
Like what else? I don't know what else we can do. Are we doing Stadium Stampede?
Could do double dog collar.
Ooh, okay. I can get into that.
We could do fire, like the cane matches, like the rings around, like you can set them on fire, throwing them out of the ring.
Yeah, please no. I think
first person on fire loses. Those are always fun.
Yeah, I don't know. See, because in my head.
Like my point is though, like where do they go after? You literally tried to murder this guy twice. You suffocated him with a plastic bag and you set him on fire. Like what else can you
Yeah, and it's weird, Sean, because in my head I assumed this was going to main event and then Darby would win and then ergo you would have some big angle where you would have like a Cobra Kai situation where you splintered the group. And they like kicked out Moxley because they viewed him as a loser and he's not like a strong leader anymore. So the chat or any are
I mean, that's coming at some point. I mean, he like tonight it was very obvious he would not have won without Pac showing up.
Right.
And
well, obviously glad to see him back too. First and foremost, glad he's back.
Yeah.
But yeah, just. Really weird. I have no idea.
Earlier, there's a perfect opportunity to like churn someone on Moxley too.
And I've enjoyed the Moxley Garcia stuff on Collision that they've highlighted and the match that they had in Dynamite.
I hope some acceleration of whatever this is going happens. It just.
Well, I mean, you say that, Sean, but then we had this result in the women's 4-way match, which I've seen some people say could be a possibility for the new AEW Women's World Title champion of Chris Statlander in a shocker. The match only went 12, not even 12 minutes, 11:59.
This was like a nothing match, and then the finish came, and it's just
so. I will say this. So I did say. I'm sorry. I did see Joe Pearl of Fightful did actually point out something interesting that I didn't consider. He did astutely point out that Toni Storm has been. The premise of this entire story is Toni Storm getting too cocky. She was dumb enough to say, "Hey, I want 4 challengers."
That is true.
And, she has beaten people before in like small package wrestling moves. Chris Statlander, who's been like listening to Wheeler Yuta, she's been pinning people with.
Yeah, like he's someone helping people win main events.
Yeah, which is kind of funny.
Like,
yeah, so
like he's the punching bag for the
yeah, it's not even Moxley. Now, if it was Moxley or
that, I would have liked a whole lot more.
Yeah, I would have appreciated, or even if it was Marina or Claudio, like someone like menacing, like someone you.
Yeah, even Marina would have been like, I don't know, but someone not
you
Wheeler
take
Yuta.
seriously. Yeah,
I know they booked it that way, but man,
Right.
like just the moment was lost, just because of the way it happened. It's like,
yeah,
of course the fans reacted because they saw a title
it was
change.
shock. Yeah, I think
It's one of the more shocking finishes I've seen in a long time.
Just
Was not expecting her to lose the title at all.
No,
but that just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, it felt weird in a way because it almost kind of felt like title change for title change's sake on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, like get a pop out of the.
Yeah, and no, I will give this a 2 weeks. I need 2 weeks grace on this, but they better have a hell of an angle to follow up with this.
Like they've done nothing with Statlander. They haven't they've just
huge fan of Statlander.
She's good, but they haven't made her like a well-rounded character on TV yet. So it's like
no, and she's been doing kind of in and out stuff with Willow, and then they've been kind of dealing around with like the women's tag title stuff, which obviously didn't help too. So Statlander, for someone who's sacrificed her body, like for the moment, like very happy for her as like the person busting her ass and she's just destroyed her knees and gotten back to where she is physically, and that's pretty amazing. But just the way, to me, on the surface, if you were gonna do this, I would have just done Tekla and just gone full bore. If you were gonna do something,
at least someone that's kind of has something to them that right now going for them. I don't think Statlander has much anything going for her other than she's won the title.
I think, like you said too, this had the opposite effect of all the other multi-person matches. In this scenario, the champion got pinned,
which is I definitely am glad that it wasn't a flash pin on one of the other women,
right? Which would have even made less sense.
Terrible.
What do you think? Maybe this would have felt like a bigger moment had it just been a singles match and they actually built it up.
Yeah, but.
I mean, they gave her the pyro and stuff. That's fine, but to me, they better, because this is a huge deal. Like Toni Storm, who's
she was the same one that came in, and didn't she get the win over Jade too? Like for the TV.
Yeah, so Statlander did beat Jade, correct? Yeah.
It was the same thing. I feel like she's the same exact wrestler as she was then. It just they've done nothing to make her interesting. And that's just don't get me wrong, I like her as a wrestler, but as a character, she's not she's the furthest thing from a top star. Her gear, the way she's presented, it's just mid card. It's so mid card.
we should have been tipped off right away, Sean, because I don't know if you noticed. Statlander, when she was introduced, she had a new theme that was not good. So very heelish. It's very.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, no, she had a new theme and it was stinky. So we should have already known.
Okada's theme jars me still. When it comes on, I'm I gave it today. I know it's been a few months now, but when it came on today, I'm like, who the hell is it coming out? It's I was like, oh, they got rid of his music.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
What a choice.
Well, yeah. We'll see.
It's bad, but it just it doesn't fit him.
Yeah, it was kind of anticlimactic. Now, again, I appreciate a wrestler losing Viva by a clean pin, but like you said, it just it was a shock win, and they better not save this for Collision. This better open or close the show. I need a big meaty segment, and Now some people are telling me, Sean, the direction here is the next on Wrestle Dream you're gonna get Stat and Toni Storm. Stat wins clean, but then after that she officially probably joins the Death Riders. I don't know if you're gonna get Stat joining the Death Riders on Wednesday.
I'd be so excited for another member of the Death Ride.
Well, I mean, Sean, it's like the NWO at this point.
Don't make me set aside any plans I might have had for Wednesday night. Like just thinking of skipping Dynamite is out of the question now.
Hey, you're
like seeing Statlander change your gear to like all black is just thrilling.
Well, you're either team Callus or team Death Riders or AEW. So you have to pick a team.
I got sick of Callus too tonight. It felt like he was like out for every match. Like his act is fine for 1 or 2, but it just they had like I think they had a string of matches where someone from the Don Callis family was in it for it felt like a long time.
Right. Yeah, but it was a lot of Callis on the show. He got a lot of heat to his credit as well. The crowd was after him. I will throw my hands up and say now I will say Toni Storm did a good job of selling the shot. She did a good job of selling it. Now I do appreciate that they did let it breathe a little bit. They gave her the pyro. It was kind of weird that Harley Cameron came out. Now potentially this is finally mean we're gonna get Willow Nightingale wrestling for the title and winning. That's kind of cool. That's a cool prospect. But again, like you said, John, I need a little. I really like Statlander. I just whatever this kind of tweener versus she's been in a long time because she went heel to kind of tweener, and then towards the end of last year she was wrestling Mercedes and
just went away from the stuff with Stokely.
It was it was a lot. So I will again. They better address this big time on Wednesday, and hopefully we get something really meaty and good out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen any of the scrum notes yet, so maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
I planned out of this from the scrum. Sometimes Tony tips a couple of segments for Dynamite.
He did. Apparently, we are getting a big announcement, Sean. On Wednesday.
I saw that. Yeah,
we haven't gotten a.
This guy's got more big announcements than I have bills. So.
No, to be fair, Sean, we haven't actually gotten a big announcment from Tony.
Yeah, it's been a while. I was thinking about that the other day. It's like, man, Tony hasn't made it big. Like it used to be like every week.
I don't know if you saw this, Sean, but Sean.
Today I woke up and I saw the sun, and the crowd's like. Thank you, Tony.
Sean Ross Sapp had a side-by-side, Sean, where it was the graphic of the Tony Khan has an announcement, and then Paul Levesque was introducing the show. I thought I got a kick out of that. I just quite funny. So what do we think it is? Is it something to do with the C2 women's tag titles? What are we thinking?
I'm guessing it's the C2.
Okay.
It could be either one. I mean,
do you think maybe they announce, maybe we're getting a women's C2. We get a men's and a women's, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know if they can do I guess they could do it. I don't know if they have the depth isn't there really right now. But,
Derek Mitchell. Good thought in the chat, Sean. Or maybe the big announcement is Derek Mitchell in our chat, Sean, says the big announcement is AEW going to have a spring show in the U.S. during WrestleMania.
But he already said that on Thursday.
Well, that was very interesting. So he kind of now, not taking Tony Khan out of context or anything, because I was on the call, he said specifically they obviously are planning on having a big show in the spring. He didn't necessarily say it was going to be in April. Now, traditionally, he touted Revolution is usually around that first or second week of March. It's usually like March 7th, March 8th, 8th, 9th, one of those days. So,
it would be so disappointing if they don't counter program WWE in Saudi Arabia.
I would say almost. I don't know if this would be too bold of a strategy, Sean, but I think it would be very interesting for them to reach out to New Orleans and say, hey, let's have a make good, let's have a show. And I don't know if it'd be a bold strategy, Cotton, but I would say Superdome in 2027. In 2027.
Man, that'd be an incredible That'd be incredible if they did the Superdome and WWE was overseas in Saudi Arabia.
And I just think if these cities
they could do it. I mean,
you've
announced it far enough ahead of time, and
you've got enough plan. And if you're making that kind of like the shows for folks to kind of travel and all the indie shows to come in, and I'll go to that show because I can drive.
Especially when no one has WrestleMania weekend to go to. No one's who's gonna go to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah,
I don't know many people willingly going.
No, there is not enough money in the world or free subscriptions Wade could offer me, Sean, to go to Saudi Arabia. No,
I have to say, after seeing WWE and running this WrestlePalooza head-to-head this weekend and watching them run their show outdoors with hardly any people around I just looked over at the post show and it's just funny.
What's the attendance been like? Is it not been good?
Well, for in the arena it looked full, but like these panels, panels they're doing, there's no one like it's supposed to be like their version of college game day. It looks like like Evolve 20.
Oof.
Like there's that's how many fans like you can see like space in the background where there could be people.
Right.
Like I can literally count the people behind the main host on the show.
Rosenberg?
Yeah, no, not Rose, the guy from Raw.
Pat McAfee?
No, the new
Testator.
Yeah, Testator. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're it's a little more filled in than it was during the afternoon, but it's like college game day. You just see like a wall of people. It's like crazy, like
crazy. Yeah.
This is like apathetic. It's like there's people there. Like there's this guy like just standing there that like doesn't look like thrilled at all to be there.
He's the plant.
I'm shocked by this. Like that they couldn't get people to recreate. You know what I mean? Like at a big show like this.
Yeah, because usually that's like these people just exist. We see them.
You'd figure like I figured after the show for sure the people coming out of the arena would just like fill right behind the post show panel, like because they were going like when they were set up before the show. I was thinking, oh well, maybe everyone wanted to get in the building, and like obviously something went wrong there logistically where they didn't get the people to fill in. It's super weird to me because obviously it looked like it was packed, like the attendance wise, for the show, and just to see it so sparse outside for like, it's kind of jarring because I didn't expect it, because they've just like I watch a lot of ESPN, so like this show is just like I'm so sick of hearing about it. And
thanks for letting us know, Derek. I actually Derek Mitchell on our YouTube chat. Sean said to be fair, the indie crowd wasn't great before the show, and the crowd in the arena was lukewarm at best, which I'm kind of surprised by that. I just thought they would have gone gaga for everything in the show. What the fans did actually go gaga at the AEW show for this ladder match, Sean, which I didn't love how it was kind of just shoehorned in the show. I think you could have this entire card could have existed without the ladder match, or you could have just had the Young Bucks versus Rodito, which would have made more sense. But it was, it's one of their traditional cards. It's the Young Bucks. I knew they were going to throw the Young Bucks and Rodito in a ladder match. It was just kind of convoluted on how it was done.
Just thrown together.
Thrown together. I thought it was actually very nice that obviously Mike Bailey and Alexander are getting a chance to shine in their hometown. That's cool. Canada guys, that's cool. But I mean, it was exactly what you expected. It's the Young Bucks leading the way in a ladder match. Of course, it's going to be very good to great. I would say I don't. Ladder matches are kind of like a hard thing to do. But
I thought it was great. I mean,
it was great. I mean, the Bailey and Kevin Knight, they
not much to say. Everyone did their thing. They just big spots. through ladders, and the Kevin Knight spot really stood out where everyone lifted him up and tossed him through the tables.
That was very unique, so I did actually like that, and obviously I'm glad Mike Bailey is not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did confirm via social media he's not dead, so glad to hear that.
I got a chuckle out of that. He literally just sat up out of the submission. The announcer's like, he's crafty. And I was like, I'm watching. Like, he literally just let him go, and he sat up.
Yeah, and this one was on this.
And then he almost decapitated him with the knee drop.
Yeah. If there was going to be any title change on this card, Sean, I would have circled this one for sure. Because
I think they're just too hot. Like, I like the finish. Like that.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, yeah, you would think like if there was going to be one, it would be here. But I like that they got to shine in the finish. They tossed everyone out. They cleared the ring, and got the Bandito had a little bit of trouble getting the
those belts were going into business for themselves for a little bit.
Yeah, this draft in the arena or something. I don't know. I guess the momentum of him taking off the first one kind of caused it to sway a little bit. Right. So, yeah, I definitely like the end, and it's just for something that was thrown together is pretty darn good.
Yeah, again, of course, the Young Bucks are in a match. They're going to lead the way. It's going to be great. I'm so glad that to me, Sean, they look so much more re-energized. They look like they're having fun again. I can't state enough that match that they had with Ospreay with like a bad neck apparently, and then Swerve with a bad knee was probably the best tag team match I've seen in person in my life. Just it was incredible stuff. And,
yeah.
That break that they had obviously was much needed. I'm glad that they look like they're having fun. They're doing BTE again, and obviously the post match is obviously the next little feud with the return of Jack Perry, which got no pop, and I felt so bad for him at first, Sean, because that crowd did not give a crap about Jack Perry.
Like the BTA, I don't think is as watched as it used to be
either.
No.
But
so it's like a case of just a tough situation for him.
Yeah, but zero pop. But I'm glad they show, they cut the lights out. The crowd already knew what was coming, which ultimately I guess that's not the best. That's the worst thing in the world because they got exactly what they wanted. They wanted Luchasaurus. He came out and made the save on Jack Perry.
It was just very convoluted how they got there,
Yeah.
I just didn't understand that. I mean, I thought it could have been a easier way to bring him back and get a pop for, or just get some kind of reaction for him. But the Young Bucks have kind of just relaunched that, their YouTube stuff. So it's not something people like. It used to be like appointment viewing every week.
Oh yeah.
And, obviously, with the commitments they have now, it's since they got into the company, it's been they hadn't done the show for a while. But I thought they made the best out of it. Like I thought like Jack Perry was like a goner. Like I wasn't really expecting a reunion with Luchasaurus for some reason at this point, but they made the best of it.
Yeah, the hug. Crowd went crazy, and obviously we've got Tarzan Boy back in our lives. And once they hit that song, I was like, okay, they're obviously. I thought for a second, okay, are they gonna hold that in their holster and just make everybody yearn and wait for it? I was like, no, but you did the hug, give the people what they want, and everybody's doing the wave. So as I was doing,
I muted myself. Yeah, I was gonna say the people went crazy.
Yeah, everybody went.
I was surprised. I wasn't thinking like people would want to see them together again, but like they were just like, it's such a big reaction.
Yeah, and I want to say this could just be again. I don't think it's necessarily a nostalgia act. I think it is kind of like a personal thing because especially with everything Luchasaurus has gone through, and then just the fact that. They kind of had like a weird tag team title run. It wasn't necessarily great. Obviously, the circumstance of them winning the titles when Phoenix got hurt obviously wasn't ideal either. So I'm willing to definitely give it a try, see what happens. And then, if anything, if we can kind of get potentially babyface Jack Perry actually wrestling matches again, I don't necessarily hate that either. I thought, I always think about that match him and Omega had at Daly's place where I was like, okay, I mean, there, if they mold
Yeah, he
something
was on
here,
a good track, and then he just,
yeah,
the behind the scenes stuff, and he,
not, not,
fell
not,
off,
yeah.
It just has.
But
Hopefully, this gets him back on track, and hopefully he's
I think it will. I
ready
think it
for it.
will. This will be kind of like that. Whatever merch they're going to sell, I think they're going to sell like hotcakes because, my wife's actually a big. She loves Jurassic Express, Sean. My wife likes a lot of
I mean,
people.
they are great.
Yeah, no, they're great. No, she likes a lot of like the core four, or I guess the pillars.
Yeah.
She loves Sammy, even though nobody else likes Sammy Guevara. Jungle Boy, up until this point, was not everybody's favorite person. She likes Orange Cassidy too, so I'm sure they'll be up there in merch and having great matches because Luchasaurus is a good babyface worker in a tag team setting. He's a hell of a worker, so. I'm happy to get them back working for.
I'm excited to see them.
Yeah, and I guess we don't have to worry about Kyle Fletcher getting lost in the sauce here, Sean. Because
we already showered the praise on you.
Man, that So this
even I was surprised because it was so good. Like I was expecting it to be. I thought he'd do well in this situation. It clearly he wasn't over to the level where you're like, oh, he can beat Hangman in a match. So that was working against him. But even the crowd was really unfair to him. You're not ready and stuff like it. Even Taz seemed genuinely upset with that. He usually doesn't make remarks like that on commentary.
Right.
But
like you said at the start of the show, this was a very kind of traditional New Japan style because Hangman was given Fletcher because somebody asked me is Hangman giving him too much, and I it kind of just fed into the story as it went on, and you look up, and I did actually find it very interesting that they did the call at 30 minutes, and I thought for a second I was like, is this going to go to the 60 minutes? They need us. They need I know that's always a kind of subject of contention. They need to always be consistent on these time calls. They don't have to be like New Japan all the time.
I don't think they said anything until it ended.
No, they did a time call for 30 minutes.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so that
I didn't hear that, but I heard north of 30 minutes after.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out. It felt like it went a long time.
Yeah, so 38 minutes, 10 seconds.
Almost 40 minutes, I think.
Yeah. But you know what? I think I don't know if it just the match style fits to our taste. I just thought this match absolutely flew by because because I think about the opener and I felt like how I was ready for that to wrap up at 13 minutes. This was fantastic.
One of the better wrestled matches I've seen in terms of what it had going against it going in. You kind of had Wardlow as the focus, and he got hurt again.
Right.
First time back in the company.
Poor guy, man.
So looked like he was going to be the focus, but Kyle Fletcher comes out as the focus, and he's gotten a pretty good push, on and off, but he's never been kind of come up to the level of a consistent top guy. But for some for Hangman, having an opponent like this, a type of title fence that defines title reigns, can you work with a Kyle Fletcher and make him credible and make people think he can beat you? And they did that here.
Intensely.
It was really believable that at some point I thought, because he worked his back and he worked his neck and he had counters later on in the match, some nice counters of the buckshot lariat, and Hangman couldn't put him away with the dead eye. And you're just what's it going to take to beat, how is Hangman going to beat? It got to that point at the end where it got kind of epic. You thinking, watching it, how is he going to lose? And you finally, Page pulls out the buckshot lariat, and it was just a great, just a very mature match from both of them. And I didn't really see that. I thought it'd be good. Fletcher's very flashy and he hits his impact. You know what I mean? And I don't know, Flash. He could be very fun to watch in the ring at times. The way his offense hits and connects. But I thought here, it's like we said, it felt like very much like a New Japan main event. Both guys picked. Once Hangman made his comeback, he went after Fletcher's neck. So they're both, chasing their finish, going after necks and back. And, both of them target each other's neck. And it was really fun to, just the big moves on the outs. I think was Fletcher took a brain buster through one of them. There's a brain buster spot through the table.
Deadeye.
Big. Deadeye, yeah. There was that too, but there was another one through like the ring announcer table. I think at one point they did something over there. But the Deadeye through the table. Then he did an avalanche Deadeye, which is just crazy.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah, they pulled out all the stops here, and Fletcher came out looking really good, and despite taking the loss. And it's one of those cases where you want to see both guys wrestle again. So I'm hopeful that maybe they go back to, like, Tony doesn't do rematches a ton out of stuff like this, but I definitely think hopefully they have something good lined up for Kyle, because there's so much going on in that faction right now, because Kyle is in the main event, but you also have Takeshita and Okada's tension, and they're going to be, you would think at least Takeshita will be in the one of them will want to be in the main event picture at some point.
Right.
So there's a lot of, I just hopefully they capitalize on Kyle's performance here, because it was something that like I said, you don't get many opportunities to build off things and execute on them. And I think this is something that can be capitalized on for both guys. I thought Hangman came off like a true champion defending his title, dug deep to get past, a really game challenger, no outside interference. And Fletcher almost pulled it off, which was I was very impressed with this match.
Yeah, and Fletcher, he's just been an interesting case. I'm glad I had a chance to kind of chat with him in the build to All In, and obviously, prior to the news of Adam Cole getting hurt, like him winning the title at All In was going to be his moment. Beating Dustin and kind of having that moment, I still think gave him a nice shine. He's just been a guy where I feel like as a fan, John, I feel like very how can I say this? I'm just very happy to see, because I've seen so many matches with him in Collision where nobody's watching him, but then he's wrestling guys like Omega, Danielson, on Collision, and then all of a sudden Ospreay comes in and he has that incredible debut match with Ospreay on Dynamite, and then it's like, okay, if you guys didn't know, Fletcher was already coming. He's already here. He made his transformation of his body,
think about where he
he used to be like a straight,
where he came from with Aussie Open. How the two of that, he wasn't anything close to what he is.
No, not even close. And then
because I remember watching, he was when Beyond Wrestling did their weekly show, I think 2018, and they brought in Aussie. I remember I used to see them in Beyond Wrestling all the time, but seeing them in Beyond was fun as a one-off when they came into. I think they were in the air, in the US for WrestleMania weekend. So this is right before WrestleMania weekend one year. It's just seeing him transform, it's kind of crazy because you can't believe like that's the guy from, I'd have to go back and look at the gear he wore. Like, not that he looked like terrible, but like he's gone from like an indie guy, like not that they were like, I don't know, like I never saw him as like what he is now, I guess is the best way to put it. Not that I thought he was going to be bad or anything, but he's so drastically different than from when I first saw them.
Yeah, he's not even the same. And I remember just having a chance to kind of see him when he won the ROH TV title, and you saw like the changes. And I've always kind of said with AEW, especially now with this Void, Sean, I've always kind of actively challenged like the roster, and I've always asked the question like, who wants it? And you see a guy like Fletcher who was willing to kind of like bust his butt and do all the work, and he's having these incredible matches, but then he's doing the promos, and he's a guy, he wants to be the top guy, but he's also he's bumping it, like he gives so much in his matches too, because like he'll go out there and have a hell of a match with Hiromu or Commander, or
pretty much anyone he's up against.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. And he's a tall fella too, and he's a hell of a. He bumps around like oh god, who's a great bumper, Sean? Who's like
I don't want to say he's like HBK, but
no, but he for someone.
That's my go-to bump guy.
He bounces around like oh god. I don't know. I can't even think about somebody who he bumps like, but just for someone his size to do like bump around, and
not many guys his size bump.
No, and the fact that he can still stooge too and still look so menacing in his matches, and
I mean,
a lot of people can't.
He
like
used
MJF,
to be the bump guy in the Aussie Open, so that's probably where it comes from. Because Davis was the muscle, you know what I mean? The bulk. So he was a bumper back then.
Yeah, and Derek Mitchell in our YouTube chat, Sean, he did ask, "Where's Mark Davis?" I believe he's hurt. Is he not?
Injured.
Yeah, Mark Davis injured, sadly. But yeah, it's an amazing story to see Fletcher kind of show he's like a guy, and I tell you what though, just the fact that AEW was so smart to sign that extension with him, and get him under contract, because he's still a baby at 26. He hasn't even touched the pinnacle of anything yet. So he's still, to me, he's a
got
baby.
10 years before you can sign with NXT.
But
it's a bit of an old joke.
but just think of where Fletcher has come, Sean. He at this point is now a guy. You have to stick him in on the card monthly now. I mean, bravo to him, because that's
he's earned a spot for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and he was doing that even before Omega and all of them got hurt too. So he was always kind of like traditionally he's penciled in on the pay-per-view in some capacity going forward. Now that's a hell of a triumph for him. But I would say, okay, so I don't know how you normally do this, Sean. So do you want to grade the show overall, like with a letter, 1 through 10? What's your preference?
I go 1 through 10, and then we go home. So
okay, what's our number?
Like you said earlier, I'm like, I gotta go 8.5 because some of the matches were so good. I was kind of at 8, but I gotta go like 8.5. So it was so good, but a lot of the card dragged it. Like some of the matches just weren't all that great, so I can't say it's like a 9 to me is like a blowaway show. And some of this card was a blow, but it had so many matches, so it just didn't have the consistent quality. But I would give it a solid 8.5. It was, especially if you missed it, you definitely want to go out of your way to see the MJF and Mark Briscoe, the tag title match, and the 4-way ladder match, and the main event, the Page and Fletcher.
And I would say also the unified title match as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll go 8-0. I think if maybe I would like to see in a perfect world maybe if they recalibrated the mood of the first match, maybe I don't want to say that kind of like started the mood that kind of like made the mood of the start of the show, and they kind of had to kind of fight through it, and the crowd was kind of weird. But I will go a solid 8-0. But we'd like to thank everybody personally in our YouTube chat and our audio listeners. I really appreciate it, and obviously, Sean, it was great to obviously have
thanks,
a.
man.
Yeah, no, it was really cool to kind of chat with you. All your infinite knowledge, and I really appreciate everybody. Anything you have upcoming this week as far as features or anything?
Just New Japan next weekend is about the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. About the pay-per-view covered, and I'll have another take-up. I have a take-up on how the fans are the real losers this weekend up right now from WWE's predatory tactics. And we'll have another take. So, check out towards the end of next week, check out the site. I'll have another take. Try to have a new takeout every week, and have some audio coverage of New Japan coming up as well.
Love to see it. And myself and my co-host Amanda Jenny of the Collision Cafe will have our review next week. I will obviously go back and try to rewatch this a little bit to see if my mood changes. But again, would like to thank all of our YouTube subscribers, everybody in our chat, and our audio listeners. We really appreciate you subscribing, supporting us.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, you are the best. And everybody have a great day, weekend, night, evening, however, whenever you're listening to this. We appreciate you, and we'll chat with you next time.